Jewel is from the town of Ohio, and she was and is part of New Yorkers for Donald Trump. It's a group stumping. I guess it's stumping in not the town of Ohio, but actually the state of Ohio right now. That makes sense. Jewel, I believe you're from the Buffalo region. Is that correct? Hi, Jewel. Good morning.
I'm sorry. Yeah, hi. How are you?
Good. Are you from the Buffalo area? Where are you from?
Yeah, we're from the Buffalo area. Most everybody's in Western New York.
Got it. And you're a big Trump supporter. And what are you hearing out there? Are you in Ohio now?
Yes, we're in Ohio now. We're in the Dayton area.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been very positive. We're getting a lot of positive response for Donald Trump. There's a lot of undecided.
Yeah.
There is support for Kasich. You know, some people really love their governor. Others are not really happy with him.
They say he's leading in the polls right now in Ohio.
Yeah, I was hearing a couple of different things.
So what is it about? What is it about Donald Trump for you? What makes Donald Trump the man for you?
Well, I'm Tea Party.
Yeah.
I actually created Tea New York back in 2009, and Donald has really managed to accomplish in a few short months what the Tea Party's been unable to accomplish in 7 years. And that is, because we've run candidates, and it's just really hard to beat the party's endorsed candidates. And because there's, the forces are arrayed against you, but he's managed to stomp down the media. He's managed to stomp down the Republican establishment. We were very unhappy with Boehner and his replacement.
Yeah. Isn't it funny though?
It seemed promising.
Yeah. Isn't it funny though how somehow we've been able to it almost sounds like you're zipping up your suitcase there.
It's my boots.
Oh, your boots.
I'm strapping my boots on.
Good for you. You gotta have them on there. It gets a little tough out there on the road. Gets a little deep, if you will. So,
right.
What's interesting though is somehow, because it always used to be about the billionaires and it's the wealthy that run this country, and they're the ones they can't be beaten. All of a sudden, Trump is like we're looking at him like he's not the wealthy guy, and he's the one that's on the outside and being attacked.
Right. I think what people really appreciate, he has sort of a down to earth attitude. He really seems to be for the people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that just feel like he's the kind of a guy that you can have a beer with.
Have you seen his house? I mean, he has more gold in his house than Saddam Hussein did.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for a rich guy, he's a pretty down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, okay. All right, that makes sense.
So I've just got to ask, and I asked this to a local guy, Jim.
Who set this up, by the way?
Thank you, Jim.
Jim set this up.
And I asked him last week. He's a huge Trump supporter. And I get the anti-establishment. I understand that for a guy who's so wealthy, he is for the common man. But at what point does Trump have to start spilling details on his plans for different departments or health care, et cetera? Does that not bother you that his catchphrase during this campaign is "Trust me, believe
I'll explain
me,
it later. Yeah,
we're going to win.
Yeah.
Trust me." Where he's not really detail oriented. What is your take on that? Okay.
I'm sorry, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yes.
That one's for you.
Sorry. I'm sorry, we had a distraction. We had a couple of volunteers that were looking for something. Could you rephrase that?
Well, I'm just curious about his lack of detail on certain things that he hopes to accomplish. Does that concern you?
Right. I believe that he actually does have a lot of detail on his site. If people would just go to his site at donaldtrump.com. And I don't know. I know he speaks in a very fairly simple manner, and some say he certainly would say that he's not particularly eloquent, but it's all out there. I mean, there seems to be a lot of things that he's I'm a very conservative person, and I understand that he's not super conservative on all the issues, but he's very right on some of the issues that I really care about.
What about these violent moments, the protesters and the guy cold cocking and Trump saying, I'd like to punch him and I'm going to pay for the guy's legal fees. Does that bother you coming out of a potential president?
Well, first, I believe that these, from what we're learning, that these are paid protesters. Are we surprised about that?
Well, but even,
I actually haven't heard some of the comments.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But even if but even if they were, let's say they were, and these people are claiming that they have no affiliation with anybody. Let's say they were paid protesters. Does it give anybody the right to punch them?
I'm sorry. Who are you referring to that's doing the punching?
Well, in one case, it was the guy that Donald Trump says he's going to pay for his legal fees. It was this guy, the cowboy ad. You remember seeing that picture of him cold cocking the guy?
Oh no, I was pretty astounded by that.
Yeah.
I think, it was interesting because when the Tea Party began, I was surprised the number of people that had never been involved in the political process before. But I have to say, I would probably guess about at least 85% of the people that were involved in the Tea Party movement would probably identify as conservative or conservative Christian.
Right.
So you weren't getting a lot of violence. You weren't getting any violence.
Right.
But Donald Trump seems to attract people from all across the, political and social spectrum.
So
that was completely uncalled for.
Right. And
I don't know. I think that Donald Trump. I'm sure he doesn't support what he did, but I think that he's a very appreciative that this man that supports him.
So because he'd be punching him in the face. So boy, I'm glad you're not my enemy, right? That kind of thing. Right? I'd hate to have you punching me. But Trump paying for the legal fees, saying that he might pay for the legal fees of the guy that did the punching. You probably wouldn't support that, though.
Well, that's I don't know that I would do it, but I think he's the man's been charged. I think isn't he been? I don't know if he's been charged.
He has been charged.
Been put in jail.
I believe he was charged. Yeah, afterwards they charged him. So, all right. Well, listen.
I don't know. I don't know that I would. I think that Trump is probably doing that because he recognizes the man as a supporter, even though he doesn't support what he did. I think he's just coming to his defense because right or wrong, the man came to his defense.
Got it. Well, listen. Good luck on your stumping today, and you got your boots all ready to go, and good luck out there.
All right.
All right. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And Jim says he wishes he was out there with you.
Yeah, we wish he was too. We miss him. We need him here.
All right. Thanks so much. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That's Jewel in Ohio stumping for Donald Trump. And actually, Jim Zecca, I believe. Is this Jim on the line now?
Yes, it is. Is Jewel still there?
No, I'm sorry. I got rid of her. I didn't see that was you there.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to say hello and wish them well. I wish it was down there with them all.
But how do you...
doing a great job. Working hard.
How would you answer that, though? I mean, paying for the legal fees almost makes it seem like he's endorsing what the guy did. And even what he said about Bernie Sanders was like, I know a lot of these people at Bernie Sanders, he says they're not, but Bernie better be careful because my supporters might come after him. I mean, that type of thing is almost like keeping this stuff going. I mean, how do you feel about that, Jim?
Well, I just don't believe in violence like that.
Yeah.
I mean, peaceful protesting is one thing, but I've seen it all. I've been through campaigns through the years, and in fact, a presidential campaign down in Brooklyn when I was a teenager. Down when there was a race with it was Nixon and Humphrey, and there was almost a riot on 13th Avenue down in Brooklyn between the two.
Yeah,
it happens in campaigns. People are just charged up for their candidates, and unfortunately, you get some extremists that get out of control.
Well, it's
happens.
not.
But with this situation with Trump, we don't know the details. I'm not agreeing with anyone to do any kind of violent act.
But I think, but Jim, here's the thing that gets tricky. No one thinks that the violence is something that's being endorsed. However, when you have Trump coming out and saying, I would have. Listen, when you, in the day when you come into an event like this and you protested, you went out on a stretcher. I would have liked to punch the guy in the face. And, oh, by the way, if you punch him, I'll pay for your legal fees. I mean, it's stuff like this that almost is inciting the violence in itself, which is kind of scary. But that stuff's coming from Trump, not some of the crazy supporters.
Again, I've seen this in many campaigns through the years. People get upset with situations, and if these people are taunting and really harassing, I don't know the situation with that guy that threw the punch. We have no idea what the background was. He probably did talk to him, and that's why he's backing him up. I don't know that, though.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming.
Well, he
got all the details on it, and he said, well, if that's the situation, then you need to get protected, and you need to have your legal fees taken.
Right.
I don't know that. I'm just assuming that, but knowing Trump and the way he is as a person, they could all say what they want to say, but the man is a good man. He's done a lot of good things through the years. He has a history of it, unlike a lot of these elected officials that all talk the good talk but do nothing for the people of this country.
All these things will not sway you. Really, and I think Christine had said it, where if you're a Trump supporter right now, all this stuff, no matter what happens, is not going to sway a Trump supporter and somebody like yourself.
No, I guess not.
Well, I've got one more.
I believe he is a good person. I believe he is the person that's going to make the difference in this country at this point in the history of our country.
I'm sorry, Jim. I do have one more, though. What is your take on this report that his campaign manager grabbed the female reporter, so much so that it left a bruise on her arm? Any thoughts on that? Because to me, that's troubling. That's really troubling. And it seems to be written off.
They said it didn't happen.
Now they're saying it didn't happen?
Yeah. Well, the Trump side is saying it didn't happen.
Okay.
We don't know the details. We don't know with this age of electronics and the internet and everything being reported in details. You just don't know what the truth is, and until something goes to court or something comes out where there's charges made, and then those issues are brought out in the open, then you'll know all the details. But in the meantime, I don't trust it. I'm sorry, but I don't trust the media.
Yeah.
I don't trust what we're hearing nationally. All the forces are against him. You guys know that. You got Republicans and Democrats.
Well, right. It's not.
They don't want him in there. They do not want him in that position.
It's not necessarily the media. It's really. I mean, it's. Right now, it's the Republicans because they're in the middle of this very heated primary. So here's one quick question. So let's say Marco Rubio pulls out a win. Let's say it happened, and Kasich wins in Ohio, and it looks like Illinois could go to Cruz. And all of a sudden, they start coming up on Trump. Trump goes into the convention with more delegates than everybody else, but it's close. He doesn't have enough. He doesn't have enough to win it all. And then all of a sudden, the Republican Party decides to choose someone else. How will you, as a Trump supporter, handle that if Trump is the one who has the most delegates?
I would obviously be quite upset. Unfortunately, I can't vote in New York's primary. I'm not a Republican, so I can't vote. And it's unfortunate that New York State has closed, and I know you argued that point about open primaries, closed primaries, but I do believe in open primaries, actually. I'd like to see nonpartisan elections like California passed in the entire state, but not in New York. That'll never happen unless the people get a chance to vote on it.
But at the end of the day, what if they actually oust him? Because there's been talk about that, about ousting him and not letting the people have their will.
There'll be hell to pay, I'll tell you that, because you talk about people being upset. The general populace, there'll be a revolt, I'll tell you, especially with the Republican Party, because, again, he's been winning a majority of the states and doing very well. And it looks like he's going to really pull off Florida.
Well, it looks like he's way ahead in Florida. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what tomorrow brings, Jim.
He shifted his campaign back over to Ohio, and I know he's bringing up the issue with the Kasich, which I didn't even know about. And believe me, I was very involved with the whole anti-NAFTA movement a number of years ago. But Kasich was in Congress with Bullitt at the time, and by the way, Mr. Bullitt, Congressman Bullitt, voted for NAFTA, and we had big protests in front of his office when that was all going on. But Kasich did support NAFTA. That needs to be brought up in his own state because his state is definitely negatively affected by NAFTA.
Going to be interesting to see what comes out of tomorrow. Jim, thanks for your time. I appreciate it greatly.
All right.
The biggest Trump fan in Central New York, Jim Secca. All right. Thanks, Jim. I wanted to just direct people to one website out there. It's TrumpDonald.org. TrumpDonald.org. If you have not been there as of yet, please go there. TrumpDonald.org. It's an animated website, and there's a horn over top of Donald Trump's head, and every time you click it, it honks like that, and it blows the hair off Donald Trump's head. It's really, you could go right under his chin. It'll blow it up high. You could go from left over to the right. There it is right there. And the hair just goes a-flying. It's Trump or it's TrumpDonald.org. TrumpDonald.org. Manaski has now found it, and he's blowing Donald Trump's hair all over the place. Quick break. We'll come right back with news on WIBX.